Some of the people that follow my content already know that I hate doing applications. I hate creating apps just for the sake of developing them because I already went through that. I already spent months building apps that basically achieved nothing. I went already through most of the issues and most of the mistakes that you can make when you want to develop an app. So in this video, I want to explain you, I want to show you and help you decide if software as a service is convenient for your service or not. If it can really leverage your business. Because what typically happens is that a lot of service founders, a lot of people that have a service business, they directly jump to software as a service applications. They directly start thinking about software as a service, but I believe not in all cases is worth to build a software as a service application. But before starting with this, I want to explain you who I am and what I've done. I'm Justo. I'm in a process of creating 12 apps in 1 year. I recently launched the 5th app. Now we are about to launch the 6th one that will be launched on March. I created a system that lets me test applications in just a couple of weeks so I can start creating apps that are really aligned with a specific audience and that help service founders remove the ceiling from their businesses by creating long-term assets that can replace the business that burns their time and energy every single day. So this is not for everyone. I mean, if your service is already working with a real revenue, a team, and operational delivery, and you're starting to feel structural pressure, this is for you. This won't help you if you're just starting out, if you are still not making money with your service, because you probably didn't hit the ceiling yet. Let's talk about the problem, okay? The problem is that your business is not failing. At least the way you probably see it. I mean, your business works, and that's the uncomfortable part because decisions remain centered on you. So every strategic movement requires your judgment, and if you step away, velocity drops. That's what was happening to me a couple of months ago when I had a marketing agency. Everything seemed to be working, but at the same time, I couldn't leave my business. I couldn't leave the business for a minute because if I stepped away, everything braked. At the same time, hiring adds coordination and not freedom. I mean, the team grows, processes improve, but dependence doesn't disappear. I mean, you're still attached to your business and you have reached the structural limit of the model. You're not stuck, you're seeing the ceiling. And once you see it, software as a service seems like the obvious option. But software as a service is not a natural evolution, it's a capital allocation decision. A lot of people want to jump to software as a service, but they don't pay attention to this, okay? Software as a service competes against other options. Software as a service is not your only leverage option. And I'm telling you this even though I develop software as a service applications for clients. But I don't want to be like the typical developer that takes any project and develops applications just for the sake of developing them, because that won't bring you any results. So I believe the real question is not should I build software as a service, is software as a service is the highest return move available right now, because if you didn't raise prices yet, if you didn't redesign the onboarding of every client, if you didn't eliminate low margin customers, if you didn't delegate decision layers, you still didn't try the things that could remove the ceiling from your business. I mean, if someone comes to me and tells me that he wants to remove the ceiling from his business by creating a software as a service application, the first questions that I would ask him is if he already tried any of these things. Software as a service feels like the obvious answer because it promises detachment from your time. It provides you leverage, okay? I mean, and it does. I mean, it provides incremental leverage. I mean, it removes you from your service, but only if you do it the correct way. Because a lot of people start applications because it feels transformative, but leverage is not measured by how transformative something feels. It's measured by return on focus and capital. So when software as a service is a bad allocation of capital, if you haven't tried significant price increases, if your positioning is still broad, if delivery is still highly personalized, because if that happens, it will lead you to spend a lot of time on every single customer because you don't have an structured process. You don't have a standardized process where every single customer receives almost the same treatment. How do you scale something that doesn't have a standardized result? It's almost impossible. At the same time, if you haven't aggressively tackled the founder dependence, or urgency comes from revenue weakness, not strength. In these cases, software as a service is evasion. You are skipping simpler constraint removal, choosing complexity over discipline. And complexity feels productive, but it multiplies risk. So if you're in any of these situations, software as a service will just amplify the risk. If you're intervening on your system every single day, if you have unclear margins, uncertain profitability, at the end of the day, if your service depends on constant intervention and clear margins, is not operational repetitive, or requires your judgment in every exceptional case, you will just translate the problem from your service to code. The software will freeze that in the code, and you will end up with two businesses, one demanding and one unfinished, neither leveraged. Now, software as a service becomes the best option when your demand is predictable and results are repeatable. The bottleneck is your judgment and not team capacity. You can clearly isolate the mechanical components, and you have the capital to absorb errors without destabilizing the core. Because we are not talking about innovation, we are talking about extraction, okay? Not something shiny. You're not inventing here, you're compressing something that already works. If you cannot describe what part of your service can exist without you, that's the first thing that you need to solve. That's the first thing that you need to do. First of all, define the standardized decisions. Well, I'm going to give you a test that you can use to really see if software as a service is the best option for you. If this product exists, does it reduce my decision load? Not revenue, decision load. It will become a software if you manually approve exceptions, if you constantly customize, if you manually resolve friction, but it's leverage if your revenue continues without your constant judgment, if you deliver continues without intervention. You have a standardized results or a standardized process for every single customer, and decisions are in the system, not in you. Another thing that you can do is take a deep look at your business, at what you currently have, and see if you have, let's say 10 customers, 20 customers, 100 customers, whatever, and take a look at the customers that are similar. Those ones who have, or those ones who require similar processes to deliver the same result. And that's what is worth becoming a software as a service. Maybe you don't create an application to replace your business entirely. You do it to replace a certain process that repeats over and over again, and it requires your time. Now, a lot of people, when they know they reach the ceiling of their business, they get excited about software as a service, they explore features, and then they hire developers or a development agency, and then they reduce service focus and they expect it to migrate. That's the incorrect process. The ones that win identify the real economic constraint, they test simpler leverage moves first, they separate judgment from process, and then they validate results. And this is very similar from the people that start an application from the ground up, and they spend 6 months without validating anything. And people who launch an application as fast as possible, they launch a beta version or whatever to start getting feedback as fast as possible. So what's the conclusion of this? Build only if simpler leverage moves are exhausted, founder dependence is clearly mapped, and extraction is precise, and risk is absorbable. And if you already went through the test and you are in the position where you can convert your service into a software as a service because you have a standardized results, but it demands your time every single day, you can take two different paths. You can do it on your own, hire a developer that doesn't know anything about turning your service into a software as a service, or you can talk with me, that I already had a marketing agency in the past. I understand your problem and I understand the solution to your problem. The only thing that you need to do is book a call. I will leave you the link on the comment section. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you on the next video.